Love your child enough when they're 17 and 18 years old to assist them in choosing a reasonable career path with no debt. No, you can't go out of state. You don't borrow money to cross the state line. That's known as stupid. You go to the University of Tennessee if you live in Tennessee. If you live in Alabama, you go to Auburn or you go to Alabama. If you graduate from one of those three schools, you got a good degree in whatever field you're in. To cross the state line and quadruple the cost of doing it and not have the money to pay cash for it is stupid.
Someone explained to me why almost everyone with a lot of student debt acts like someone forced them with a gun to their head to sign the dotted line and take that loan. I sat in the same lectures in high school that all you people did. You know, all the ones where they told us if you don't get a degree that you're not going to be successful, and if you don't get a degree, you're never going to make a lot of money. So why should you get a get out of jail free card just because you didn't do the simple math required to find out that most degrees are not worth the investment? You know what I did? I asked my parents, hey, are you willing to pay for college? And they said, no. And then I went to the state and I said, hey, can I get financial aid for college? And guess what they said? No. And my only two remaining options were either get a loan or pay for it out of pocket or don't go entirely. And then when I looked at how much interest rates are on student loans and how much I'd be missing out on by not investing that money myself, I went, no, thank you. I was able to do that cost-benefit analysis on my own. So why should everyone else who decided that it wasn't a bad idea, why should they have their debt canceled or forgiven? What do people like me get who did go to college but paid for it out of pocket all by myself? I worked several jobs at the same time as going to school full time to get my degree. What do I get for being financially responsible, right? If they're going to cancel your debt, what do I get?
If you haven't been paying your student loans, some of your paychecks could soon be going to the government. The Department of Education said that it's going to be collecting payments for student loans that are in default starting on May 5th, and that includes by garnishing wages. When it comes to debt, you're considered delinquent as soon as you miss a payment, the very same day. And when you go a certain amount of time missing those payments, that's when you go into default. For student loans, it's about 270 days, and that's when you'll end up in this situation. The department said that these collections will be done through the Treasury's offset program. And that program seeks to claw back delinquent debts by withholding federal salaries, tax refunds, and Social Security benefits. The Education Department said that more than 5 million people are currently in default, and more than 4 million more could be in the same boat in a few more months. Those who are in default will get emails sent to them in the next 2 weeks telling them what next steps they need to take, and wage garnishment notices will go out later this summer. This is the first time since March 2020 that federal student loans have been sent to collections, and the Education Department said that there will not be any mass student loan forgiveness. Read more about the collection plans and what you need to do if you're impacted at cbsnews.com.
I am over $100,000 in debt because of student loans. Do I think it was worth it? Do I regret my decision? Let's get into it. So I decided to become a nurse when I was 24. I went to a community college to complete all of my prerequisite classes. I paid next to nothing to complete those. Once I was done and graduated with an associate's in science with a 3.8 GPA, I started applying to nursing programs. Applied to nursing programs throughout San Diego County, through Riverside County. 2 years went by and I had still not gotten into a nursing program. Bite the bullet and take out student loans and go to a private accelerated nursing program. I went to West Coast University. This school is notorious for being really expensive. Accelerated, so you graduate with your bachelor's degree in nursing in little over 2 years. The education itself, I really don't know if it was good or bad in the grand scheme of nursing programs throughout Southern California. What I will say is that I am in debt over $100,000 because of student loans. I don't know how long it's going to take me to pay that off. In fact, it's just a distant future goal of mine. I'm not even worrying about it right now. Paying them on time, it is what it is. Do I regret it? If I knew that getting into a regular public nursing program was going to be that difficult, I would have just gone to West Coast right off the bat and saved myself those 2 years wasted. Why is it so hard to get into a nursing program? Is what I really want to know. There are so many RNs that are leaving bedside. Why would you want to make it so difficult for people to just get into nursing school? If you're thinking about going to West Coast and if you've been trying to get into a nursing program and you're having no luck, I would just say go for it. Go to a private program that you know you have a guaranteed foot in the door. If there's one thing I regret is that I didn't start sooner.
A payment in the amount of $2,910.91 is due on. How can I help today?
I called back on April 4th and then April 18th. What's going on is...
I'm gonna need to get you transferred, okay?
Okay. The consolidation went through about 3 months later, but the IDR plan was still processing. To this day, it's still processing. It hasn't gone through.
I'm gonna brief 1 to 2 minute hold. Let me look into this further.
Okay.
For you, okay?
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Liz, I'm gonna get you transferred to a supervisor.
I'm still not seeing any account updates for the administrative forbearance. I never even got an email confirming like it was put in place or anything.
However, I would have to have the borrower on the line for that.
Okay.
That's the only thing. I'm not able to submit that with you on the phone.
Which is so frustrating. No, you've been really helpful. I appreciate it. 3 hours later. Oh my God.